Today, we're diving into a topic that's becoming more and more relevant: early retirement in the financial sector. Many companies are offering early retirement packages, but why are they doing this and who exactly gets affected?
That's a good question. Companies don't offer early retirement packages just for fun. It usually comes down to a restructuring strategy. The goal is to reduce headcount, but not necessarily by firing everyone. Some employees are kept on while others are encouraged to retire early. But how do companies decide who stays and who goes?
Right? It's not just random. Typically, it's those whose performance or work quality has started to diminish over time. For example, employees who've been around for decades, maybe 20 or 30 years, are often the ones targeted. It's not because they're not experienced, but rather because they haven't adapted or grown with the changing business environment.
Exactly. The longer someone stays in the same role, the harder it can be to keep up with newer methods or the faster pace of the industry. They might be holding on to older practices, and despite their high position or years of service, their efficiency might drop. So, the company's decision to offer early retirement comes down to balancing work output and cost.
That's a tough situation. But it begs the question, when do they cross the line? When does someone go from being a valuable, experienced asset to someone whose contribution isn't enough to justify the cost?
Great point. There's usually a threshold. If an employee is only working at, say, 50% of their previous capacity, it puts a strain on the company. They're still drawing their full salary, but the work they're producing doesn't match up. That's when companies would start to think about reducing the workforce or offering early retirement packages.
So, if someone's productivity drops below a certain level, like 50% of what it used to be, that's when early retirement might be on the table?
Exactly. And when that happens, it becomes more than just an issue of individual performance. It's about the overall health of the company. If too many people fall into this category, the company's financial stability could be at risk. They can't afford to pay salaries for work that isn't up to par.
That's pretty harsh, but it makes sense. It sounds like companies are doing this as a way to keep themselves afloat, even though it's difficult for the employees involved.
Absolutely. But we also need to think about the bigger picture here. Many of the people being offered early retirement have been with the company for decades, and they've been the driving force behind its growth. It's not that they suddenly became useless. They're just caught in a system that's pushing for new ways of operating.
That's the paradox, isn't it? These people helped build the company, but now there's no real place for them in the company's next phase of growth. They're not out of work, but they're being pushed into a situation where they have to retire early or find new, less fulfilling jobs.
And that's the frustrating part. These are highly skilled and experienced people, but now they're being asked to do things like work at gas stations or become security guards. It's such a mismatch of talent. It's heartbreaking, really.
It really is. So the question becomes, what can be done to make sure that these talented individuals don't just fade into obscurity? There has to be a way to use their skills, right?
Absolutely. These people have years of expertise that can still benefit society, but the current structure doesn't seem to have a plan for them. The key here is to create opportunities for these individuals to share their knowledge, whether it's mentoring the next generation or applying their expertise in other areas. There's still a lot of value to be tapped.
Right? And the idea of passing on their knowledge could actually be a source of fulfillment for them. If they can teach others, it could give them a sense of purpose again.
Exactly. Imagine this. Instead of being pushed into low-skilled jobs, these individuals could be teaching or consulting. They could help bridge the gap in industries that are still developing. For example, they could work with companies in emerging markets, where their experience could make a huge difference.
That's an interesting point. There's definitely a lot of potential there. It's just about finding the right platform for them to use their skills.
And that's where I think the knowledge economy is heading. We need to create avenues where experienced professionals can transfer their skills to new generations and emerging markets. It's a win-win situation. They get to stay engaged and respected, while the younger generations or foreign markets benefit from their vast experience.
Absolutely. And it's something that could change the way we view retirement. It doesn't have to be about leaving the workforce entirely. It can be about finding new roles, new missions, and new purposes.
Yes, exactly. Retirement shouldn't mean the end of contributing to society. It should be a shift in how one contributes. Instead of being relegated to low-skilled jobs, experienced workers could become mentors, educators, or consultants, sharing their expertise with the world.
It's an exciting thought. I think the key takeaway here is that we need to rethink what we value in our workforce, especially when it comes to the experienced people who helped build the companies of today.
Right? We need to create a society where their skills are celebrated and used in ways that still contribute to growth, both locally and globally.
Exactly. Hopefully, we'll see more companies and even countries start to design the systems that support this idea of giving experienced workers a new purpose.
That's the hope. It's time to turn early retirement from a loss into an opportunity for everyone.